you can't ignore the fact that there is no person who's openly queer on the bench, and there is no role model. And you cannot reject the fact that once you are there, that even if you choose not to decide as per your sexuality, the vast populace or at least the queer community will have a role model to look up to. And I thought that was important. Very tempting to ask for a quick fix. And we do this very often in our country. We'll pass laws and pretend that somehow passing of a law or making some bold statement will make change happen. Change is tough. Change is hard. It takes time. It takes effort, right? I was fairly certain when my name was considered for elevation and was recommended that there may not be the easiest path, because I was going to be a person of alternative sexuality whose name was going to be considered, and I knew that would take its own time, right? So there is delay, and I expected that there would be some hurdles potentially along the way. The only reports I have seen are in the media, right? And some interactions that I've had with some of the judges after their retirement, I give the example of Justice Lokar, who's come out of the open and said that the reason for my deferment has been on the ground of my sexuality. He's come and said it. It's in the public domain. As I said, there's Justice Vivian Bose, one of India's greatest judges in the Supreme Court, who had an American wife. You have Chief Justice Ravi Dhawan, who was Chief Justice of Patna High Court for a few years with an American wife. So having a foreign partner surely can be no grave security risk to the post of a High Court judge. So I really wonder. If we are not willing to reform the system, then we have ourselves to blame, right? We have received so much from the judicial fraternity, my job, etc., the flourishing practice that I have today. I have a lot which I owe. And there comes a point when you have to give something back as well. I think we really owe it to the system. But I think that is a general part of why I consented to be a judge. There was another very deep reason for it, was the fact of my sexuality, right? I would have been India's first openly gay judge, and even if someone else had come, it wouldn't matter. I would have been potentially a role model for the queer community, for young lawyers, young school students, to look up and say that, here, if this person can make it, maybe so can I. Because often, as I said, justice is, it's not just completely impartial. It's you require a representation and a faith in the system that the people who are deciding is reflective of the society that currently exists in India. So to have an all-male upper caste, a higher judiciary is completely unreflective of what in the makeup of India is. So I think when a Dalit or a woman or a member of the queer community has their matter heard, to have faith for them that the judges will be neutral and impartial requires them also to believe that the makeup of the bench is at least somewhat similar to the makeup of this country. Answer to that is yes and no. Sorry for the ambiguity, but there are no black and whites here. To some extent, yes, I think it will improve things. It will be difficult for people to be openly hostile, because when there's a queer judge on the bench, you can't really start making the same kind of comments that you could if there wasn't someone, right? It's difficult. So yes, I think that will help. But I give the example of the discrimination that women face in our profession. There are women on the bench. There are several women on the bench. can we say that has been sufficient to remove discrimination against women in our bar, in our society, in our legal sphere? No, because that also takes hard work. You see, I don't think we can forget this, that it's a constant battle. You will constantly have to go there, constantly try to have to make change. Thought back to 15 years ago or 20 years ago. And this had not seemed possible at that stage, that I could be openly gay out and have all the judges of the High Court vote for me. It just didn't seem possible in those times. And look what's happened. It's not just me. You're right. There are a series of liberal judgments that are coming out from the High Court. It's almost as though one is scrambling over the other to protect the rights of the LGBTQI community more. It seems to be that way to me. The issue of sexuality in the bar is not divorced from what is happening outside the courts, in the society at large, right? Lawyers are a subset of society, albeit slightly more privileged, slightly allegedly more educated, and slightly allegedly more liberal. So I've seen a change. I think 20 years ago, when I started my practice, this don't ask, don't tell was tinged with a lace of hostility almost towards the queer community. But I've seen the change happen in the last 20 years. And it's been dramatic, right? From what I saw 20 years ago to today, if you go by a blink of an eye, there's been a tremendous change. I know so many more queer lawyers, openly gay out there. And when I was starting my practice, you couldn't even count them on the fingers of one hand, right? So things have changed, and things have changed a lot for the better. Is it ideal? Certainly not. I'm in it. I'm not going to withdraw, as I've said. If it takes time, it takes time. And so, no, I'm not alienated. I'm very hopeful that change will happen. Even if it doesn't happen for me, at least I will, even if I don't smash that ceiling, I hope I'll put enough dents in it so that the next person who comes after me has an easier task ahead of me.
Our COVID ground reports cost us about 7.5 lakh every month. You can help our reporting from the ground. Go to thequint.com, click support the Quint tab, choose a plan and pay.